So the Golden State Warriors and the Los Angeles Lakers played last night, and let's go over this game 5. So as the Golden State Warriors started this game off, it was a turnover on the very first play, and this is something that we see very oftentimes. They'll turn over the ball, they'll do crazy things like that. It'll either be like a turnover or typically a brick shot. But I will say, when they play these games, the Warriors, they always tend to have a turnover at the beginning of a game. And when they do have a turnover in the beginning of the game, they typically lose. So when I saw that turnover as the very first play, which was the same in the last couple of games we played, I believe, in the King series, I was immediately worried, and I was like, oh boy, we may not come out with this one, but thankfully we did. But let's get into how. Now, Draymond Green was in this game, and he was being aggressive. He even told the refs at one point, no, he told Steve Kerr that he's not going to be toning it down. So if they're going to give him a tech, they're just going to have to tech him, because he's not going to be toning it down. And he said that before, so nothing new from him. But thankfully, the refs did not give him a tech, and he was safe and ready to go. He was able to play the whole game. So that's always good to see. Klay Thompson, the way he plays in these games, he's really starting to concern me, because Klay has been missing a lot of shots, and he hasn't been his normal self as far as the way he shoots. But I will say that he has been locking in defensively. So if he can play defense, that would be great. But we all want to see Klay making those buckets that he normally makes. Now, also, back to Draymond Green, he scored 20 points in this game. That's a lot of buckets for Draymond. He is not a scorer, as we all know, and if he gets more than 10, we're typically lucky. And this is actually the third time that we've seen him score 20 points in this series. I guess he kinda, in a way, knows when to be more aggressive. With our backs against the wall, there's no room for error. There's no place for, messing up. You got to be perfect from here on out. So he's been scoring for us, and we needed every bucket. It's very important that we keep that lead as we was in this game, because we always had a gap. It was about 10. We started off with a lead, then we let the Lakers go on about a 10-2 run, I believe, and then that lead basically all just went away, and we were able to go back on another run as we were heading out of the second quarter to balloon the lead up to was it 11? Yeah, I believe it was 11, with a Curry 3 and big shots down the stretch. But speaking of Curry's threes, he has not been making them as much as we'd like. He's made 6 out of his last 25 three-point attempts, and that is terrible, to say the least, for anyone, and especially for Steph Curry. That is numbers that we just typically don't see. As far as his shooting goes, I always expect Steph to have about 20, 25 points at least, but also I expect him to make half of his shots. And I know that's a high standard, but for Steph, that's where I like to see it. And he does that he does it pretty often, so it's not crazy to say that. But away from the offensive side of the ball, we're looking at defense, and the fouls was not as much of a factor in this game, and that's a good thing, because once we get into foul trouble, we start turning the ball over, and then everything goes downhill from there. So we was able to keep that down. As a matter of fact, I'm trying to see here, how many times did they foul? They turned over the ball only 14 times, and I know only 14, I know you're thinking, oh yeah, that's a whole lot, but really, the Warriors are very capable of turning the ball over 30 times, 20 times. So to keep it at 14, it's still too high. I'd prefer to see that number at 10, because when you pass the ball as much as we do, you tend to turn over the ball as well. But 30 is a lot, and thankfully we were able to keep that down and keep it at 14. It doesn't say here how many fouls they have. I'd have to look that up later. But I will say that They played well in this game, and we need to see more games like this where they come out the gate with a fire and an attack and they don't let up off the gas pedal. Because what happens when they go on the road is if they get a lead, and they typically do get a lead, they go up by like 10, then they just blow it off of like some silly plays, not paying attention to threes, leaving them wide open. I know that some of these guys, they're not the best three-point shooters, but honestly, once you're in the NBA, I don't think anybody should be left wide open at the three-point line or anything like that. I think you always need to be guarded, and you should be guarded. And yeah, I mean, guys like Draymond Green, he would miss a three-pointer, but at the same time, he could also make it, which we saw him make one of them today. He was one of two. And Jordan Poole, I want to talk about him for a minute here. He came off the bench and he had 11 points, which is good to see, because in game 4, Jordan Poole had 0 points. He didn't score anything, and he was benched the whole fourth quarter. Today he did get some fourth quarter minutes, but he didn't play very long. Oh wait, no, he played 23 minutes. He had some good time. But it's good to see that he's making some of his field goals, but as far as his 3-point baskets go, he's 1 of 6 from deep, and it's just he hasn't had that stroke from deep in like forever. I don't know if he's even had it this season, to be honest. So I'd like to see him improve from deep, but I think the solution might be just to shoot less threes and, you know, try to attack the rim more, because at least then you could get a foul call, and he's a 90% free throw shooter, so there's no reason why, if you can get calls, get them. Aside from that, we don't get many calls to begin with, so if we could have some of that going our way, then definitely try and do that. But I understand it's very hard to attack the basket when Anthony Davis is there and he's towering over you, and he's blocking essentially every shot, or at least altering it, so it does change that dynamic. He's not going to be able to easily drive into the lane as he was in the last series against the Kings. So that's something we'd like to see, is him drive more, but at the same time, you could only do it at a certain extent to this Lakers team. Now, the Lakers had 15 free throws in this game, and that's pretty good, because there's nights when they get like 30, and sometimes we get 6. It was actually completely even. We had 15 as well, and actually we shot better. We went 14 of 15 at the line, and they were 12 of 15. So if we can keep that line even, we definitely can win this series, and I don't have any doubt in my mind. But this I know you guys saw the dog going around. There's that dog on the internet that everybody's talking about. I can't remember the dog's name, but that dog just might be right, and I'm not just saying that because I'm a Warriors fan. Well, maybe I am. Anyways, I like to see how we were fighting for boards, especially Gary Payton. Being as small as he was always jumping up and looking for baskets, looking for boards, and he even had a couple of slams in this game. He had an and one with LeBron James, and overall, he played well. And if we can get Gary involved in this series, that'd be great, because Gary is a big reason and a big factor why we won our last game against the championship last year. Without him, we essentially do not win. So I want to see more of Gary out there. And I want to see Kuminga out there as well. I know Kerr has said that he doesn't fit the matchups, like, I guess, he kind of has a point, but also at the same time, I think Kuminga could really be set defensively, and he can just go and guard any player, such as D'Angelo or Vanderbilt or any one of those guys. But at the same time, the players that I'm looking at him being matched up with, they're not really offensive players, but I don't see why we can't let Jonathan Kuminga go out there and try to guard LeBron. I know he's second year, so I just want to see him out there and see what he could do. Even offensively, get some slams, get the crowd engaged, especially at home, that kind of thing. He was playing a whole lot of minutes in the whole regular season. Then in the postseason came around, his minutes went way down. We barely saw him in the first series, and we've only seen him in garbage minutes in this series, so maybe that will change, but to be honest, probably not. Now, Anthony Davis was injured. He had he got smacked in the eye, and I don't understand this. Anthony Davis is like, you guys always see the memes and the stuff and the jokes they make about him. He gets injured so easily, and well, it's true. Anthony Davis, he gets smacked in the face, and he was down. That's what I saw from my angle when they replayed it. I was like, was it really that bad? And I was like, it can't be that bad. I don't understand how he survived playing street ball before he got to the NBA, but that's a whole different story. Maybe just because he was so tall, However, they did say he got poked in the eye, so that is actually a big deal. He had to go out on a wheelchair. That's crazy. He went out on a wheelchair because, for whatever reason, but I expect him to play in Game 6. They said at the end of the game he was feeling a whole lot better, so I don't see any reason why he wouldn't play in Game 6. And aside from that, they want to close it out in Game 6. It's not going to happen, but they want it to happen. And Game 6 means that we could potentially get an appearance from Game 6 Clay. That I would love to see, because we have not seen Clay. I mean, we've barely seen Steph shoot well, but we have not seen Clay show up really in any of these games offensively, and that's the main reason we need him out there. I guess he's holding his own defensively, so I will give him that, but we mainly want his offense. We know he can, be good enough or hold his own on the defensive side of the ball. He's better than Curry. He was at one point before his injury, a pretty good defender. He was the definition of 3-and-D, but now he's been a little slower defensively, but he has that shot in him, and we have not seen the shot basically come out. Tonight he had he went 2 of 6 from deep, which is something we've been seeing essentially this whole series. Curry went 3 of 11 from deep, and combined they have not been shooting very well. However, the thing about Steph is when he's not making his 3-point shot, he finds a way to get mid-range shots up, and also he finds ways to get up his get to the basket. Especially when Davis hits the bench, that's the time to really attack the basket and take advantage of the situation of Davis being out, which they actually did a lot in the fourth quarter as Anthony Davis was out, and you could see, okay, they were missing some of that rim protection. So you have to be able in playoff series to make adjustments to adjustments, and you got to counter the counters. It's like the game inside the game, basically. So when a player as a difference maker such as Anthony Davis goes down, we need them to attack whatever weakness they would have without him. And at the same time, when he's on the court, we have to attack whatever weakness he has out on the court. For example, he doesn't like to come out of that paint area, so if we can get him out, which they have been doing with the pick and roll actions, especially high up, because you don't want to give us that shot, although we have not been making it. That's one of the things that killed the Celtics in the finals last year, is they kept dropping. And to get Davis to not drop and step up and then maybe even attack the basket after getting the speed on him, things like that. We just got to find ways to attack them. And there was no performance, really, aside from Schroeder, I guess. There wasn't really a performance from the Lakers bench, which is something that I do believe will change as we head into Game 6. Somebody's going to show up. That could be Hachimura. It could be Gabriel. It could be, Walker. It's happened before. One of the things that we have to stop is these bench players, because this Lakers team is really deep. And they've been able, throughout this whole playoff series, to have one of these guys, whether it's even in the starting lineup, whether it's Russell or Reeves, which Reeves has not played well in this series at all. And quite frankly, I don't think that had anything to do with our defense, but they need somebody who can step up and somebody who's gonna basically just take over games at certain points. And they've gotten that from various players throughout last series and throughout this series. There's always somebody. That's what happens when you have a deep team, like kind of like what we had last year as Otto Porter Jr. He would step up and he would make shots, or whether it's what's his name, Bielitsa, he would be that guy off the bench, that's just making shots. Like we kind of had it in game 2, I believe. Yeah, because that was the game we won. We had it from Jermichael Green. If we can get more performance like that on our side, then that'd be great as well. But I want to see more of our bench play well, and at the same time I want to see us be able to play better against the Lakers bench when a certain player starts going off. You never know who it's going to be. It's not like it's going to be Lonnie or it's going to be this or that. They played a lot of whoever offense on Curry, and it worked for them, especially in game 4. So you could see that Steve tried to basically change that, but then at the same time, they weren't ever really close like that. But heading into game 6, I want to see an appearance from game 6 Clay and basically the whole team. I'm going to trust the stats with this one, as the Warriors have not gone a series in the past 20, I believe it's 28. It's either 28 or 29, but I think if we win this one, then it would be 29 straight series where we've won at least one road game. That's quite the record. So it's in our blood to win a road game, and with our backs against the wall and only one more game being left, facing elimination, I think that we can get this game. So if we are able to win game 6, then I believe we would have sucked all the life out of Los Angeles, and they would just they wouldn't know how to win a game 7, because I mean they could lean on their veterans, but coming back to Chase Center, that'd be tough. Mother's Day, it's a Sunday, and one of the reasons why I believe that the Lakers have won as many games as they have so far is because of the advantage they had in winning game 1, which gave them like okay, you gotta leap. And when they won the first game, it's like they have that advantage because they had a break and we had to go back to back. We had 2 days. Basically, this whole series, we've been going 2 days after fighting a crazy game 7, Curry dropping 50, which we just might see again. And yeah, I truly believe Curry would have dropped 50 already if he was shooting better from downtown. We have not seen him put the two together really in this series at all. I guess maybe a little bit in game 2. Yeah, game 2, because that was the game we won. But he has not shot pretty well from deep in this series. But Wiggins showed up. He had 25 points. And we know Wiggs can score. In Minnesota, he was a scorer. In college, he was a scorer. As a number 1 pick, we know he could put the ball in the basket. He just hasn't been doing that. So I think if it's a mental switch that he needs to flip, but he has to be more aggressive when attacking the basket, and he needs to attack that basket more, especially when he has a smaller defender, like we saw Lonnie Walker guarding him. When you get mismatches like that, you got to just jump over, turn around, hit that kind of, not a fadeaway, but that turnaround shot in the paint, because you have a smaller defender on you. But the Lakers aren't going to be coming into this next game expecting to lose. They want to finish it at home in LA in 6. So it's going to take a lot for this Warriors team to win it, but I believe we can do it. We have to take a road game, which we've done in 28 straight series. So like I said, I'm going to trust the science or the statistics. And hopefully we can win this next game and force a game 7, because a Warriors-Lakers game 7, oh, that'd be nice. That'd be amazing. And I still have the Warriors winning this series. I did originally pick them in 5. I was very wrong, but the dog wasn't. So hopefully we can see a game 7 and maybe even win that one too. I don't know if Anthony Davis is going to be out. I highly doubt it. He's a big part of their team, and if he's not playing, I believe that they have no chance in winning. Because realistically and honestly, Anthony Davis and his length and his defensive presence is one of the reasons why we've been so mid offensively. We haven't had our shots, our layups, or whatever else. We haven't had any of that, and that's all because of Anthony Davis' presence. So a lot to look out for as we head into game 6. Hopefully we get a win. Let's go Warriors. Thanks for watching this whole podcast. This is new for me, so if you did enjoy it, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. It would mean a lot to me. We're trying to get at 200 subscribers. We're almost there. I didn't really have time today to put together one of my more in-detail videos where I sit down and edit it a lot more. But if you guys did enjoy these podcasts or this podcast, just like the video and subscribe to the channel would mean a lot to me. We're trying to get to 200 subscribers. And until next time, let's light them up.